gases have gone offline.
How many?
All of them.
The ship's moving. Get out of there.
Right now. Copy that.
A snag. There is no more slack. That's everything I've got. The ship's not drifting.
Chris has become our anchor. That's never gonna hold.
Chris, on me.
What happens now?
Your umbilical, it's gonna snap. I will come back for you, but you have to get yourself back to the top. I can't rescue you if I can't find you. Understand?
Just make sure I'm lined up.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Movie Madness. Today we're going to be covering the new movie that just came out today known as Last Breath. And it's starring Woody Harrelson, Simu Liu, and Finn Cole. Now, right off the bat, I have to admit that this movie truly did have me at the edge of my seat. Now, the premise of the movie is basically about follows basically 3 deep sea divers as they work on basically maintaining some gas lines underneath the North Sea. And of course, certain things go awry that cause one of the divers to get stuck at the bottom of the ocean. Now, as incredible as that story sounds, it's actually based off of a true story. And when I tell you that the director for this movie does such a great way to immerse you into this world is not to put it lightly whatsoever. Now, as you guys all know, all of my videos are spoiler free, so we're not going to give too much away except for some things that are mentioned in the trailers, and of course my thoughts on this movie as a whole. Now, like I said in that brief little intro, that the director does such a great job as immersing you into this world of the profession of deep sea divers in regards to, you know, fixing any kind of like mechanical pipelines that are just submerged hundreds of feet underwater. And one of the things that he does really well is that as the movie progresses in the very beginning, you get to see a lot of the surrounding area of this profession. I mean, to the mechanical work, to the people who work on the boats, to the equipment that's being used for this kind of job. And I love how the director did that, because in a way it gives you an idea of what, you know, these people have to deal with as a profession. And being that this is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, because being so far underwater with all the pressure and everything, I mean, anything could go wrong and cause an issue. Now, of course, onto our cast. We have Woody Harrelson playing the character Duncan. We have Simu Liu playing David, and then we have Finn Cole as Chris. Now, the story mainly follows these 3 characters as they basically try to go and work on a pipeline that is something they've done before plenty of times, until there is a huge storm that causes some malfunctions on the ship. And because of those malfunctions, one of the divers themselves gets stuck at the bottom of the ocean. And the whole aspect of how this all happens is just so like keeps you at the edge of your seat, basically, because in the entire time that this is going on, you're just wondering like, oh my god, what are they gonna make it? So it's like a race against the clock. And again, the director does a very good thing of making you feel like this is a race against the clock, because he, you know, as the movie goes on, he puts up kind of like a timer as things are happening. So I feel like that was such a great way to grip your audience and to just keep them like in suspense as to what's happening and like what's going to happen. Another thing that the director does so well with this movie is that the way it's filmed, because I do have like a behind the scenes photo, as you know, it looks like they're filming at a certain location, you know, do with actual deep diving suits and cameras and everything, but they really does expand on how dark it is at the bottom of the ocean and how eerie. Like, I love to swim, I don't have a fear of like deep water, but throughout this movie I was getting nervous. I was kind of like sweating a little bit because of how it made you feel. And I feel like that was such an amazing direction and a great way to grip, like I said before, grip your audience and keep them grounded into this story, and a story that's based off of true events too. So kudos to the director for doing that. I mean, there was absolutely amazing work done with the cinematography, the sound, even just the muffled sounds of being underwater was done so well in this movie. It was great, honestly. Seeing the dynamic of these different characters and how they interact with each other is also another way that the director kind of finds a way to make the audience relate to the characters that are, that the story is about. Duncan being that veteran worker who's done this for X amount of years, like 20 plus years. You have David, who is kind of like the character of kind of like not a hard ass, but very serious, very like straight to the point, wants to get things done. And then you have Chris, who is, in all sense and purposes, he's kind of like the newbie. He's more of the rookie of the group. He's done dives before, but this will be kind of like one that he's done at this, expanse and how big it is. And you just see how each actor honestly portrays their roles so well, and you feel like these characters as the movie progresses. And man, I mean, the cast did amazing. I loved all the cast members, and the intensity that's brought into when things go awry and don't start working out for these characters. Like it really just grabs you in this movie, and this movie was so well done and so well grounded for me. Now, with all that being said, I'm gonna give this movie a 4 out of 5. This movie was absolutely done so well. About an hour and a half, so not a very long movie. They do kind of get you, from point A to point B. Great job at gripping the audience and making you like feel like the suspense and the thrill of, what these characters are going through, and how this problem is being like resolved, and the race against time. I mean, it had me at the edge of my seat the entire time. And if you guys have seen the movie, what were your thoughts on it? Were you feeling the exact same way about like gripping the edge of your seat and just not knowing like what's about to happen next? Because that's literally how I was feeling as the movie progressed. But it was such a great movie. I would recommend watching it in theaters. Well, everybody, that's all I got for you today. Last Breath is out in theaters today. If you get a chance, I do recommend taking a chance to see it. As always, I appreciate you all for taking the time to check out one of my reviews, and I'll see you on the next one.